This is a strop, and what I'm going to be bringing with me on all my future canoe trips. And I've been looking for a knife sharpening system that met all of the qualities I wanted in one. And those qualities are, I want it to be durable, lightweight, and also versatile. I want to be able to take a knife that's in very poor shape and bring it back to a razor's edge. And what I've come up with here seems to satisfy all those requirements. It's also quite small, which is handy. So let me just go ahead and show you what I've got here. So this is the strop all packed up, ready to go. I cut this out of a strop from Lee Valley. It's about twice its length, about 8 inches, and it also has a handle on it. Now all you really need is a block of wood and a strip of leather, but since the strop I had was the perfect size and a nice hard wood on it, I decided to just use that. The strop was double-sided, had leather on both sides. I took the leather off of the other side and I put in place a mouse pad here with a really grippy surface on it. Now I have here wrapped around, I've got 2 elastics. I have one here. This is just something that the elastics that you would find around broccoli. These are great. I use these for various things in my gear for holding things together. The other one here is just a big band. This came with my snowshoes I bought, and this was holding the snowshoes together. What I did is I took it, I cut it down so that way it would fit snugly, and then I just super glued it back together here for the length of the top, and that works pretty well. So what I have is I drilled some holes to just lighten it up a little bit, and then I also put into those holes some sandpaper, and so you've got 5 degrees of grit here. I actually carry just the same paper here, and then another one here, so I've got 3 grits, which is generally all I really use. And I also have a slug of the compound that you use to rub onto the leather side for whenever you're doing your fine stropping. Now one of the nice features about it as well is on the other side I've actually dug out some of that here, just so you can see here, about a centimeter or centimeter and a half into the wood. I just dug that out, and that allows you to push the sandpaper through with your finger, and then you can just grab it with the other side. If you don't dig it out, then you've got to kind of fiddle with it a little more, or use a pencil or something like that to or like a stick if you're in the woods, to push it out. So this way here it makes it really easy to take the sandpaper out. I did not dig out this last one, and that's where I keep the slug of the compound. Now what I did with this compound, I also got this from Lee Valley, and whenever you heat this up, I just heat it up with a blowtorch where I just barely touch the heat to it, and over time it'll just start getting very soft. It doesn't really turn into liquid, but it just turns into like a bit of a sludge. And I took another piece of wood and I drilled a hole the same size as this into the other piece, and I put a little stopper on the bottom, and then I would heat up the compound, and I would take with a popsicle stick and just scrape off the kind of sludge of it, and just keep on I just kept working it into that hole until it was filled up. At that point I would just take it, put it into the fridge for about 10 minutes. It doesn't take long to solidify. Take it out, take out the plug in the bottom, and then just tap it out. Once you get it out, you'll want to just scrape the sides a little bit, just that way it's slightly smaller than the holes. That way it'll just go in there nicely. You don't have to work too hard to get it in or out. You also notice that it's a little brittle whenever it's long and thin like that. So it may break, and that's fine, because it doesn't really matter as long as you can get the amount in there that you want, just so you can fill up this hole. Then you're good to go. So as far as it goes for actually using it, of course this side here is just the the regular leather strop side, so you don't have a lot of distance to travel on it, but I've had no problem getting a nice sharp edge on my knives using this length. Now if you want to use one of the sheets here, you just pop this out, pull this out here, and we put this back on. This elastic here works kind of like It's almost like the lid. It's just going to keep everything in place while you're working on it. And it also works a bit of double duty, because what this gives you is the rubber on both ends here. Now it gives a nice grip for whenever you take your sandpaper and you lay it over top of the mouse pad side and over the edge here. So you just lay this out like this, take the other elastic and pull that over. So now what you have is you've got the rubber on both sides of the sheet of sandpaper, so it's got a nice solid grip there, and it's also quite grippy on the top. Now you just give this a tug on both sides, and that just pulls it nice and tight down, and you've got a really nice surface to work with here for whenever you're doing whenever you're sharpening up. Now whenever you're done, you just take this elastic here off. And there's something worth noting here, is that whenever you go to put this back in and you roll it up, you're going to want to roll it up with the abrasive side facing in, so that way it doesn't bind to the hole here. So this way here it just slides easily in and out. Now if the grit was facing out, it can get really jammed in there, so you'll just want to avoid that. So essentially that's basically it. You've got a slug of compound in there for your fine stropping. You can put in 5 sheets of sandpaper. They're easy to get in and out. It's a really solid grip whenever you're using it, and the whole thing packs up into a nice package here. Quite tight because you've got the 2 elastics, which really keeps it together quite nicely, and that's it. So you're ready to go. Now for the most part, whenever I'm going to be using this drop anyways, I'm just going to be using it while I'm doing some crafts or something like that and working with my knife, and generally I'm not going to have to open it up. I'm going to have some compound on there, and I'm just going to be, you know, touching it up and then continuing on. So for the most part, you don't really have to open it up too often unless you want to do some real repair work or some finer tuning. So anyways, that's the strop that I've ended up with, and I think this is going to do me well whenever I'm out there.